Diner coffee, gas station coffee, burnt. That's the reputation. What is the industry all about? What are we really talking about here? It sucks. It's nasty. It has no soul. It has no flavor. In my mind, my world totally changed. You're missing most of the story. Diner coffee, gas station coffee, burnt. That's the reputation. Earned mostly, right? But earned by what? Dark roast. As you all know, I love dark roast. I'm a medium to dark roast type of person. I am probably one of the weirdest people in this whole specialty coffee area because I like dark roast. And it's one of those things to where you start to wonder, what is the industry all about? What are we really talking about here? Are we talking about a skewed place where light roast runs supreme? Yeah, we are, to an extent, right? My co-host today, dark roast. But what about other coffees or roast degrees, or even to the extent like cold brew, right? I make fun of cold brew all the time. I'm sure other people make fun of dark roast coffee all the time. But it's earned that reputation, right? It's like the first coffee that you've ever drank, right? Folgers or something in a can or something like that, right? It's always something that you've already tried, right? And then after time, you start to walk away from it. You start to develop your own palates, probably influenced by others, to tell you that this is the only coffee that you're supposed to drink. I get it. I went down that rabbit hole for a while, but then I just snapped. Not snapped, but more than anything, I kept trying things. I came to conclusions on my own. I started to taste things that came through my palate, and then I started to wonder why it was that case, right? I guess what I'm saying is that there's no universal law or rule telling you that you're supposed to only like a lightly roasted coffee. If you like it for whatever reason, you came to it on your own. You love the complexity, the variations of acidity as you keep extracting more. Then you start to get different gadgets like the mellow drip and the boosters and fast filters and all that stuff to see if you can get something unique, something different from those lightly roasted coffees. I tell you the truth, probably not to the exact same extent, but you can get cool, wacky taste from a dark roasted coffee. I think the thing that we are so accustomed to, right, dark roast, is that we're just so used to it being like a bottom of the bargain barrel type of coffee. Sadly to say, I'll say it, it's not the case all the time, but since it's one of the biggest producers, probably even one of the cheapest out there, is Brazilian coffee. Or something that's just cheap, right? Something that's chocolatey already, something that's nutty already. So when you do roast it dark, it works out really well. It works out in so many different applications. Mostly, I would say, not so much the specialty community, but the coffee community in general are drinking dark roast. And they're drinking that Brazilian, right? Diners, the same thing. Pick me up, yeah, donut shops. You know, that coffee that's on that warmer for who knows how long, right? We don't know. But we know for sure it's not a specialty graded, lightly roasted coffee. You get that somewhere else. Order online, go to a cafe that specializes in it and all that stuff. So it's earned its reputation. It just really has. I can't fault people for thinking that it sucks, it's nasty, it has no soul, it has no flavor, it's just sweet, right? I get it. I was there for a while too. But this is where it changed for me. This is where it changed for me. So you guys know that I'm a roaster, right? I buy beans online or locally and all that stuff. Whichever ones that pique my interest. And it was, so I'm roasting. And I was years ago. And I was like, why? I see this bean right here. I'm a stickler for not following directions. And of course it said, this is best as a light or medium roast, full city and all that stuff. I have no clue what the hell any of that means, ironically speaking. And I roasted this coffee light. It was fine. Not bad. And then I roasted it again. Because I had so much of it, right? The medium. Got a lot better. Full body. Still can taste everything that I wanted to. And I was like, why not try it again? So I roasted it as a dark roast. And my mind, my world totally changed. Something that I've never tasted ever before. I can't remember which coffee in particular, but I know it was an African coffee. It could have been a Kenyan if I remember correctly, or even an Ethiopian coffee. It was sweet, yes, but the acidity, the fruit was still there. It was lively. It started to talk to me. And I just sat there and just wondered what the hell was going on. And then, not just African coffees, other wacky, different, interesting, fruit forward, acidic forward type of coffees, like some Colombians. Like anytime I get a particular coffee from this particular importer, they say all this nice, fuzzy, lovey stuff, right? But when I roast it dark, it just always seems to come alive. And that's when it hit me, is that dark roasted coffee was getting a bad rap because of the beans that they were using, If you're going to be using Brazilian coffee, and just a basic one, something that I mentioned earlier that's chocolatey and nutty and all that good stuff, that's what more so you're going to get. Don't get me wrong. If you hadn't had a Brazilian coffee in a long time and it's dark, roasted, it can be big and hit you in the face and bold, and it's just so sweet and almost has a perfumey type of taste on it. But like I said before, if you're only used to just drinking a dark roasted coffee as a Brazilian, you're missing most of the story. Again, this is not me to vouch for the coffees that I sell or anything like that. Not at all. I'm just letting you know that go to anybody of your favorite roasters' website. See that one lonely dark roast that they have on their website, right? Read the notes. Is it chocolatey? Is it nutty? Is it molasses? Is it like sweet characteristics and all that? Everything brown, 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 brown from the color wheel and all that stuff if you want to go there. if you really want to try it, keep searching. Find a roaster, find a bag on Amazon that's darkly roasted. If you're kind of being lazy about it, try something that's like from Africa, Rwandan or Ethiopian or Tanzanian. It doesn't really matter. And they say that it's darkly roasted. Give it a try. Hopefully you can take away your preconceived notions about it and just taste the damn thing. Just see it for what it is. Because that's what I did many years ago. And now it's like I'm fighting this invisible war against dark roast. I think I'm being a little dramatic. I really do think so. A little bit. But it's tasty. It tells me stories. It tells me that you did me just right when you roasted me because you didn't roast everything out of me. Don't get me wrong. There's been times where I go a little bit too far. Couple seconds here and there. Past second crack. Just muted. Everything's muted. Everything's gone. It's just sweet. It's just big and bold, and that's it. It's not smoky. There's ways you can mitigate the smoke from a darkly roasted coffee. But it talks to you. It lets you know that it's ready for you. Hell, I've gotten even people telling me that my dark roast is a medium roast. Which, whatever. Whatever. It's a dark roast. And if I go even darker and I give you the beans, they're all oily and all that stuff. That's just the nature of the beast, right? But whatever. It talks to you, it sings to you, it tells you that this is a story that I want to be told. To an extent, it feels like it's a little bit more balanced than what people are totally used to when it comes to all of this, you know? And that's the biggest thing about all of this, really, is that when we stereotype things, when we put things in a box, and if it's true, it's true, right? And it's interesting that I coming on here talking about this, and there's so many different revolutions and innovations in coffee and all that, and nobody seems to want to innovate and talk about how fruity coffees and interesting coffees can be delicious in a dark roast. They're saying something. And as I sit here with my co-host, he's just chilling out, just agreeing and understanding and all that stuff. It can get boring. I'm not going to lie. I've drank nothing but dark roast for the past couple of weeks. I had a Kenyan coffee. This is Outcast, has a little bit of Robusta in it. Nicaraguan dark roast. Sometimes there's a little bit of hint of fruit on it. But I think this one right here is more so like the Outcast. So it doesn't have really any type of fruit on it. But I'm tired of it, right? But I'm going to keep pushing through. Just have a couple more weeks before my other coffees are ready for me to drink. I'm going to keep learning more about dark roast and sweetness. And how if I kind of manipulate with the paper a little bit, even with the acidic forward profile of the water, to see if I can actually get there a little bit more when it comes to this whole thing that we call darkly roasted coffee. It can be interesting. And I'm not here to beat you up about anything. You're making your own decisions the way you want to, right? I am too. It just took me many years of trials and brews and different coffees and listening to this person, not listening to this person, coming back full circle and making my own decisions on a lot of this stuff. I'm not here to tell you that you need to drink dark roast. I'm just telling you that it may have a place for you. Not so much in the classic characteristics of what you think of a dark roast. It's more in a, let me just try to get these most expensive beans, because to me, I'll leave you off with this. It's the opposite of what you think about when you think about a steak, right? A lot of times when people talk about steak, they're talking about medium rare or whatever the categories are and all that, right? And they're telling you that you have to sear first or reverse sear. And your steak has to be just the right amount of thickness so you don't get any gray band. And they also tell you that you can't go too far with the steak because then you'll ruin it. Just like coffee, there's nuances to it. Sometimes if you have a Wagyu or something that's a prime grade steak, sometimes you want to go a little bit further because if you don't, then it's going to get a little bit more chewy. Same thing with a flank steak. Some steaks are a little bit better if you go a little bit further. But then you start hearing stories of somebody asking or wanting a well-done steak. And then the owner of the establishment gets pissed and they just give them a cheap steak so they can burn it up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up if you think about it. It's the same thing that the way we treat dark roast, you know? That lonely offering on somebody's website. It's like they didn't give a fuck about presenting it in a way that's unique and different and exciting, right? Again, there's a time and place for a darkly roasted Brazilian coffee. Hell, most base espressos were that way. For the longest, that's how I did my espressos. That's 70% Brazilian. Medium dark roast. A little bit of Robusta, a little bit of some other coffee to kind of give it a little bit more character, some more flavors, right? Even to an extent, the orangey type of Honduras coffee I had many years ago. It was chocolatey, it was orangey, it was bright, it was acidic. It was there, it wasn't subtle. But then when you put it into like a darkly roasted profile form, to me, it came alive even more so. It gave me that experience of what I knew or what I understand of what sweetness can be to the other extreme, right? It let me know that I can probably modulate a little bit more, use a different brewer. Same thing we can do with any other roast profiles, right? But I guess what I'm saying here is that give it a try, give it a shot, give it a whirl. Something that's not a traditional classic dark roast. Hopefully a roaster gives it a shot as an African coffee, as a crazy, wacky, peak bonbon Colombian, or one of those really fruity, intense Guatemalans. You know? See what it's all about. But if you still don't like it, that's fine. I always tend to come back to light roast a couple times a year just to see if my palate has changed. So that's me, Oki, Everyday Beans, off the soapbox. What do you think about this dark roast? What do you think about it? You don't care? You are what you are? That's fine. This is Oki at Everyday Beans signing off. Let me know what you think. Bye.